Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we started some of the chaos missions because turns out Lacon Majoris is a little too tough for us just now. But we'll keep doing that, get some more levels, and keep going on with the seasonal stuff.
Data search detects 3 locations with faint traces of machine spirit activity. Closer inspection recommended. Marauders defiling the sanctuaries of the Omnissiah need to be eliminated.
So, if you've managed to avoid literally everything on the internet for at least a while, I can't even think of a good time frame, you wouldn't have seen that Resident Evil 4 Remaster came out. And I've watched a bit of it. It looks okay. I've never been a big fan of RE4. I never understood people's fanatical love for it. But I can't talk a lot of trash because I like Umbrella Corps and Operation Raccoon City. So, kind of shows where my tastes are. But there was a couple things that kind of came to mind. First was, are we going to get a remaster of RE5 now? Because it seems like they're just going down the line of the mainstay games. And I feel like you're either going to... Capcom's either going to completely redo RE5 and make it more horror and less action, or they're going to keep the horror or keep the action, and people are going to complain about the same things all over again. And then are we going to get a remaster of RE6? I can see it so that they can kind of bring all the lore more in line, because the lore is honestly all over the place. But, I don't know. I liked RE6, and 5 for that matter. I didn't think they were bad. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with them being more action-oriented, because the franchise stepped away from horror so long ago that it just doesn't matter. All 4, I think, was the first game that started having really big set-piece battles, with the boat and all that. At that point, who cares? Just make them fun, then. Because if you wanted horror, part of it is these games we've already played, so we know how they go. And then on top of that, it's the matter of what is horror anymore? Because a lot of stuff is just, jump scare. The best horror is looming dread. And looming dread comes from multiple places. Lack of resources, confined areas, lots of enemies in open areas. And I think part of it is not having a linear path. Because the more linear a path is in a game, the easier it becomes to predict where boss fights will be. And then the horror of, oh god, do I have enough supplies for the next room, starts to get whittled down. Because it's okay, I can kind of figure out there's going to be a boss room soon. I just have to kind of ration accordingly. But I saw a big debate going on too, was the fact that all the crates and barrels and the breakable windows have yellow on them. In the case of the crates and barrels, it's some chipped yellow paint all over it, and then big yellow X's on the sides. And then on the windows, it's a bunch of yellow paint tape all over it. Trying to cover up cracks almost. To be hey, you can jump through this. And people were pointing out the lack of subtlety. How it feels very dumbed down. And it is something we've been seeing with a lot of games. Last ones I can think of are Horizon, Like, I think it was the last Horizon game. And then the... what was it? There was some of the Far Cries and stuff have done it, where they just slap yellow paint or yellow cabling or something hanging from a ledge to scream, "Hey, idiot, you can scale this." And I get it. I've seen some games be a little more subtle in having things like scratched rocks on like the wall that's next to the ledge. So it's like, oh, people are like grabbing on and kind of scraping against the rock wall with their feet to get up and over. And that makes sense. That, I think, is actually very good, because yes, it is very obvious once you notice it, but it is more environmental than just, hey, we're in this like Spanish village where people don't even have like indoor plumbing, but they got yellow tape everywhere. It's kind of weird. So it's something I'd like to see kind of tweaked, because the lack of subtlety kind of just kills me. It's very hand-holdy. And you've heard me say it a million times, I don't like that degree of hand-holding when it's something as simple as just, hey, climb a ledge. It's not that difficult to sit down and... Oh, that's cool. I can actually order my guys to go somewhere. But yeah, the lack of subtlety is kind of tiring. But at the same time, I can understand, because sometimes some of these designs and some of these environments, especially now, they get so busy and so cluttered because it's, oh, we have to put plants everywhere, we have to maximize every ounce of energy flowing through a 4080, when it's like, nah, you can just make the game fun and not have to have this. But they gotta just keep cranking those graphics, and more it obscures things and makes it harder to see. Weak justification, but still justification I can understand. I just really hate the idea that people can't figure out how to climb a ledge. Or to figure out a box is breakable. There are better contextual clues than yellow paint. If you really wanted to use the yellow paint shtick, I wouldn't use the X. I would have just had a bunch of chipped paint all over it, just enough to be like, hey, this box is clearly different, you should be able to piece that together. Or what you do is you have it look different with, like, for RE4, you have the Los Illuminados. Have breakable boxes and barrels, have the Los Illuminados symbol painted on it, or stamped on it. So you can look at it and go, oh, this is different than all the blank boxes. It must be important. Then you can break it open, see if there's stuff, and move on. Still haven't heard anything about Space Marine 2. Hey, another Infinity. And another infinity. I'm getting a little alarmed by the fact I'm getting this many infinities. Am I getting infinity? It'd be infinite infinity, but regardless. Kinda sucks when it's like, hey, here's a Archaeotech relic. It's the same one you've already gotten. And here it is again. And the worst part is, because I haven't leveled, they're likely the same level. So I'm just getting a reroll on stats. I don't even like it because I believe that one's like... Oh god, what is it? Your, like, kill streak bonus? I don't care about my kill streak bonus. Oh yeah, speaking of kill streak bonuses and all that, Diablo 4. So people have been playing that. I didn't fire it up. I'm lazy. I didn't feel like downloading it. It was like, I swear, like 90 gigs or something. I'm like, for a beta, that's pretty steep. Especially for a top-down kind of isometric view game like this. Do you really need 90 gigs of graphics? But yeah, people have been playing it, and the funny thing is I've not seen many good reviews of it or good responses. People are just like, it's okay. My favorite was FaZe Jeff. He plays a lot of ARPGs and stuff, and he had said, yeah, it's like a 6.5 out of 10 to him, which I can see. I saw articles saying that Blizzard really hasn't learned anything in the, like, 11 years since Diablo 3. And I thought, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I had said it in my last Remnant from the Ashes video. Well, actually, it won't be the last one because of release. The one last week. And I had said, ARPGs and Souls-likes kind of go hand in hand, and eventually these should blend together. And I think that would be learning from ARPGs over the past 10 years. Hey, we gotta make combat more involved. Hey, things have to change. Diablo, admittedly I wouldn't want Diablo to change. Diablo is Diablo. I don't want it to suddenly become something way different than what it is. But I do think other devs need to kind of look at it and go, oh, maybe we should start mixing it up. You know, our new IP should be different than what all these other games have been doing for 20-some-odd years.
Welcome, fellow seeker of the truth. What is this? Looks like your friend freed you from...
Inquisitor, the leader of the cult might still be alive, but...
God, I just love this healing turret. This was the best decision. Just infinite heals now. Yeah. I just can't justify it. Chance to gain a charge per kill streak effect. It's not worth it, especially at this low level. These just aren't worth the time or effort. Get some extra critical hit chance. Melt down everything because it's not of any major value to me. Hey, we can actually bump up our tech tree a bit. Okay, we can bump it up by 1. 2, actually. Yeah, let's just get all those out of the way. So we just have to get another 750 to get all these done.
How did the interrogation go?
These traitors live in defiance of our divine majesty. They corrupt the souls of innocents and commit heinous acts. Show them the wrath of the Emperor, Inquisitor.
Rest assured.
But speaking of, like, Phase Jev and all that, if you haven't seen the stuff on FaZe Clan, as we're recording this, their stock value is at 70 cents per stock. Earlier this week of the recording, so yeah, so last week effectively, by the time this comes out, their stock had dropped from like $10 to 40 cents, I believe, 42. And I have to laugh because the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, I believe. That was a big part of it. But of course this was going to happen. When these clans hand over the keys to a bunch of business guys, they don't know what's going on. They're like, oh, this is a business somehow, and they try to make money off it. That's why they had Snoop Dogg join them. That's why they had Lil Yachty and a bunch of other celebrities become honorary members. They're just trying to do any publicity thing to sell merch. Granted, I think FaZe Clan went down the tubes once they stopped doing, like, montages. When they started focusing on getting, like, vloggers, nah, that was the end of times for them. Because I remember, make me sound like a boomer again whenever I talk about it, but I remember the good old days when these guys were honestly just playing games. When you'd find clans actively recruiting in matches. Oh, you did really good, do you want to join my clan? And then it'd be a bunch of dudes doing montages or doing all this stuff. I love that stuff. I thought that was the coolest back in the day. And I think it should come back. It's what I'm hoping will happen with, like, whatever Dust 514 sequel we get. I want to go back to the days of recruiting and doing small tournaments. Because the small tournaments were fun. That's part of the reason, like, the fighting game community is still cool. I don't understand fighting games very well. I'm terrible at them. But having these small tourneys, or even the Smash community, as horrible as the Smash community is, especially the Melee players. I love Melee, but some of those dudes are just weirdos. But it's fun because these are still grassroots tournaments. This isn't the PepsiCo smash off. It's a bunch of dudes who are like, hey, we don't have one in our state. Let's get some commentators to do commentary over these. We'll stream them on Twitch. And we'll, here's a $500 Chili's gift card as the winning pool. Yeah, it's not great, but it's fun. And that's what I loved about the old stuff. I wish it was easier to set up tournaments in shooters, because I think you'd see a revival of those old clans. They don't have to be these big corpo-run shitfests where they're like, oh, well, we gotta make money somehow. I remember they did like a reality show thing where it was like a competition to be the next FaZe member, and it was broadcast, I think, on Twitch, and they could pull like 200 viewers. That's it. I think FaZe Clan got overvalued, and it didn't help when guys like Banks were getting like the Clout House and all this stuff. Streamer houses go to hell every time. Or these clan houses. Because a lot of times, it's maybe a dude, late 20s, early 30s. At best, sometimes you just get a guy who doesn't even understand, like, TikTok or houses and stuff. Where it's some dude in his, like, 50s who doesn't understand any of it. He just knows he can get money. And then you got a bunch of people who are maybe 18 to 23, just getting out of their parents' houses free, and they just do dumb shit. Oh, we're gonna get super drunk and have a pool party. Loud music, cops get called. Do that multiple times. They just do a bunch of dumb things, and no one's happy at the end of it. That's why I like the old clan days. I never got asked to join a clan, but that's because I'd play at my friend's house. I know he got invited a couple times. That was always cool. But that stuff's where the fun is. It's not... I see the value and the thrill of like, oh man, I can become a multi-millionaire vlogger dude in LA. Okay. Part of that, for me, that I don't see the appeal in is that's just not my style. Nobody wants to see a day in the life of me. It's not that interesting. Most interesting thing is gonna be the part where it's, hey, it's me, your boy, I'm at Costco. We're buying a bag of chicken nuggets. Like, it's not that interesting. So, yeah. I just feel like a lot of these clans have lost their way. And I remember, I can't remember if it was Tico or somebody, they came out and said, like, we all got the 80-20 split, where we were getting 20% of brand deals and the clan was getting 80. And I want to say it was Tico, because it was one of the, like, founding members. And I was just sitting there floored. But it reminds me of, if you remember, JonTron did a video on this. Great video if you haven't watched it. This was, God, a year or two ago now? But it was about gamer compounds and these, like, streamer and gamer facilities. One of them that they bring up was, like, the 100 Thieves Cash App compound, where every room is sponsored by a company. And I even had commented on it, saying that this feels very dystopian, which people didn't understand. Dystopia can literally be a reality that you don't like the outcome of. but I'd say it's kind of dystopian when gaming and content creation go from like, hey, you're just in your house, you're in your room recording, having fun, talking, whatever, just doing what you do. But instead it's, oh man, you gotta come into the office and sit in this tiny, just horrendous broom closet, making the bedroom under the stairs Harry Potter had look like a 3-bedroom, 5-bath mansion. These horrible little cubbies that they're like, oh yeah, record in there and get us a Fortnite kill compilation. What kind of factory-made BS is this? This isn't fun, this sucks. Good content comes from within. You make it because you want to, not because you're beholden to your contract holder. It's honestly what kind of ruins YouTube in a lot of ways. Is 10 years ago, it was dudes in their dorms and their apartments just recording on the most busted mics, the Fraps or Bandicam logo up at the top, terrible audio, but they did it for fun. They did it because they loved doing it. Now it's like, oh yeah, I record 15 hours of stream, send it to my editor, and then he does a bunch of work. And then I upload a 10-minute slice. Is that really your content at that point? It's kind of just a slurry of whatever happened in the past 15 hours. I get cutting out boring parts, that's natural. I trim out parts, actually, in some of my videos, because nobody wants to see me running around doing absolutely nothing, honestly. But yeah, we must return to the old days.
The Conclave has sent you a... I have received your report, and I am very satisfied.
Inquisitor, you have...
Inquisitor, you have success...
But that... Actually, let me check. Do we have any... No. Why'd I even have to ask that question? Do we have anything good or new? God, that damage is nice, though. The loot quantity, though. And the sockets. That's rough. That one's not bad quantity. Yeah, we'll run that. I'm not using the sockets as is. We'll actually run that, because that's just better. Because I'm not getting much out of the heat damage bonus, and the movement speed's irrelevant, honestly. As much as I like that, I also do like the burn on critical hit. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.